Mario Party is a hard game to understand. How can a game that brought us classics such as Bumper Balls and Facelift be the same game to feature awful minigames like Paddle Battle and Pedal Power, specifically designed to harm anyone foolish enough to play them? It's a riddle scientists are still figuring out to this day, but one thing is for sure: Mario Party holds a special place in the hearts of many of us. It has its ups and downs, but there's a magic there that has allowed the series to continue to this day. But like so many other games, Mario Party has its own share of cut content. In this video, I'll be talking about the minigames that didn't make the cut in the original Mario Party. Now, you may be asking yourself, but if they were masochistic enough to let such garbage through as tug-of-war and tightrope treachery, surely none of the games that got the axe can be that great, right? Well, I say, most of them are in unfinished states, but some of them are complete enough to play through, and honestly, they're not that bad. Definitely better than some of the garbage we got. First up is an incomplete game that translates to all or nothing. It seems to be an early version of Chance Time. The advice screen talks about getting a random Mario or Bowser mark, with the Mario mark being needed to win. I didn't have much luck getting the actual game to work though. After starting it up, you're met with a few speech bubbles before beginning the minigame, but unfortunately, I can never get my character or game objects to appear on the screen. However, after randomly jumping for a bit, I was able to complete the game and get to the point where the game tells you the outcome. It's not the most interesting minigame we'll talk about today, but it's interesting nonetheless. Next up is one that's even less finished than All or Nothing, called Bungee Jump. But I won't spend a lot of time on it because, as you can see, the game freezes before you actually get to the instruction screen. Thanks to the cuttingroomfloor.net, however, I did find out that both a control screen as well as an advice screen can be found in the data. The advice says, the bungee cord can stretch a bit. Press the button when you're right in front of the coin. If your timing is right, you'll get the treasure. Our last one before getting to the more fully featured unused minigames is one called Tour de Mario. Based on the name and the hints gathered in the instructions, it seems like this would have been some sort of cycling minigame. It must not have gotten very far along though, because the game's preview just says now printing instead of showing a screenshot, and there's large Japanese lettering over the screen that translates to under construction. Upon starting the minigame, you're actually brought to Bumper Ball Maze 1 for some reason, and the rest of it finishes up like normal. I'm assuming they chose a random minigame as a temporary placeholder here, and Bumper Ball Maze 1 just happened to be the one. Next up is Same Game. Besides the fact that this one doesn't seem to feature an instruction screen, the rest of it is pretty much complete. It's a puzzle game where your goal is to try and clear the room of all the colored blocks in order to reach the treasure chest in the corner. You can only get rid of them if two or more of a color are touching. If you're left with any stragglers at the end, then you're stuck leaving through one of the doors on the sides of the room, and get only a single coin. Honestly though, this one's pretty fun. I played this a decent amount when I was getting footage because I really enjoyed it. It makes me wish they left it in because it's a solid idea for a single player minigame. Puzzle games aren't really featured much in Mario Party, and at least there's more gameplay involved than something like Shell Game or Slot Machine where you're only doing one simple thing, right? I wonder what happened to make them scrap this one. I know it's based on a puzzle game originally released in 1985 under the name Chain Shot that's had many iterations since, so maybe licensing issues got in the way. Not really sure. Lastly, we have Yoshi's Tongue Meeting, which I can't imagine would have ended up as a final English name for this one.
Go!
In it, everyone is riding a Yoshi, unless someone plays as Yoshi, in which it's on its own. I think that's a funny touch. And your goal is to reunite the baby Wiggler on Yoshi's tongue with its mother on the other side of the river. You have to press the A button at exactly the right moment to deliver the baby into the mother's arms. Hit it too early and it won't make it. Hit it too late and you'll knock the mother flying. This one is funny. It reminds me of a WarioWare microgame because of its zany detail and concept. Who would have thought of the concept of putting a baby Wiggler on Yoshi's tongue to get it across the river to its mom? And although the only gameplay involved is pushing A at the right moment, it's not bad. I've played worse, I'll say that. It's rewarding to hit it at just the right moment, although it's hard to tell where the right point to hit it is until you play it a few times. Should you hit it just before the mother? When it's touching her arms? When their faces touch? It doesn't give you any context to know, and maybe that's why it was cut. The sound effects are also clearly not done, with it mostly featuring random noises happening throughout. With a little refining, This could have worked, but it definitely feels not quite done. So that's it, Mario Party's Unused minigames. It's interesting to take a peek behind the curtain and see some of the behind the scenes stuff. There's a lot of other unused content that can be found, such as pictures and sound effects, but the minigames are by far the most interesting to me. Now, if only those minigames that made you rotate the control stick could be cut. Ah, in a perfect world. If you like this video and you want to see more of Mario Party's highs, lows, and everything in between, stick around and watch some of my other videos. I'll also be posting a couple of videos over the next 2 days listing Mario Party's 10 best minigames and 10 worst minigames. If you want to be sure to catch those, subscribe and hit the bell to be reminded. I'd appreciate it if you would. Hope to see you then.